Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Life of a Gentleman podcast. It's myself and my co-host, Rich Taylor, and today we have someone very special, and might be able to tell by the lab coat and the X-rays from behind. We have an esteemed guest, uh, a dentist out of the Louisiana, New Orleans area, the founder, the partner
Yep.
of Smile Snob Dentistry
Yep.
down there in Louisiana. Dr. Mark, thank you for being with us today. How are you, sir?
Anton, I'm good, man. Pleasure. Thank you for having me. Rich, thanks for having me, my friend. Let's get the show started.
I love it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to jump right in. My first question is going to be what grabbed my attention, and that is the name,
Uh-huh.
Smile Snob. Now, I've got my local dentist that I've gone to for years, but they're not called Smile Snob. Now, if I saw that in my local area, I'm going to see them. So how did you come up with this? How did you come up with this name?
That's a hell of a question right there, Rich. I like it, man. I'm the one that came up with it. So Smile Snob is co-founded between me and my wife. We're both dentists. We met in dental school, and man, we both got out of dental school. We were doing our own thing, working separate jobs, and eventually we both came to the terms like, man, maybe I want to do my own thing. Maybe it's time for us to try to do our own thing. So you always get the idea, you act on it. And so the idea came, and you would start to organically just think of certain things like, oh, I would like to do this procedure more. Or I would like to see this type of patient, or if it was my office, I would do this. If it was my office, I would do that. But then when the rubber hits the road, and the first step is picking a name, you know,
Yeah.
man, you got all types of wild stuff out there, and I didn't want my office to be named something that wouldn't catch your eye, like the way the name caught your eye, Rich. I didn't want it to be Burney Family Dentistry. I didn't want,
Right. Right.
uh, I didn't want
Yep.
it to be, I didn't want it to be New Orleans Family Dentistry. I didn't want it to be the street we're on, St. Charles Family Dentistry, or just something generic and boring. Like it's because we're different, man. We are completely different. We feel like we're different. We believe we're different. We have a different culture, and so we knew. It started with the name. We didn't know what the name was going to be, but I'll tell you the story how I came up with it because I am the one that discovered the name. What's the word I'm looking for? Invented the name, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was around the time my first son was born, my only son. He was born, little Junie, and he was probably about 4 months years old at the time. And man, he was giving us a run for our money at this time. We're new parents. We're in a state, no family help,
Right.
um, other than a few family nearby and stuff. But it was really just us, living our life. And long story short, my son would, like most babies, only eat milk, and it has to be a certain temperature. It has to be a certain kind. It has to be, he was just so particular about his milk, man.
Early, this man was particular.
Yeah, and like there's one thing this guy knows: it's milk. I can't get nothing past him. I can't go buy Food Line milk, which is a grocery store that was near the house where we live, and buy Kroger or Publix milk or something like that. It had to be, I can't remember what kind of milk it was at the time, because now he's hooked on Fairlife for the record, and that's. But it had to be that particular milk, and it had to be at this particular consistency, and it had to be this temperature, or he wasn't with it. And so, long story short, man, there was one time it was just me and my son. My wife went out, and I was stuck with him, and I was like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do? I need my wife. I need my wife. I can't do this by myself."
Yeah.
And he started crying. And long story short, um, I was about to get in the car with him, and there was like this drape that goes over the car seat, or a drape that kind of goes over, blocks the sun out of the way when you're
Yes.
like pushing the stroller or something like that. And anyway, it was a black and white drape, like the same color of a zebra, and in the middle of it just said "Milk Snob." And I looked at the name, and I was just like, God, dog, that's so damn funny because he really is a damn snob about his milk.
Right.
I mean, he's the best snob. And thinking about it, I thought I just laughed for like maybe 8 seconds, just laughing, and then it just hit me. I was like, well, what am I a snob about? And I was like, teeth, I guess. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And it went from teeth. I was like, man, teeth snob don't got a ring to it. But
Right.
smile kind of does. And it just stuck after that. So I presented the name to my wife like literally that same day. I think I might have texted her. I was just so Like, man, I think this is a good name right here. I don't know what it is, but this name just kind of rings to me. What do you think about this? Smile Snob. And she was just like, she laughed at it and she was just like, I mean, it's catchy.
Yeah.
It got it. I don't even know what alliteration where you have like I don't know what it is when you have the same first letter of a series of
Yeah,
words. I think alliteration. I could be wrong. I don't know. But nonetheless, it has an S, and the second word is S. It kind of blends. It's gonna be easy to brand, and then it's a catchy phrase. Snob stands out on its own as being
Right.
derogatory, playing on a derogatory word and trying to make it something not derogatory, like something that you really should be looking for when it comes to your health. And so, like, it kind of stuck with her. It grew on her, and it just kept growing on her. It's like, man, I really like it. I never veered away from it. There was no whether she said I'm not with it. It was going down that way the whole time. So that's how we came up with the name.
I love it.
Long story short, man, it's stuck with ever since. So when we came up with the name, now it's like really pressure to like, okay, now how are we going to brand it? Because then you get
Right.
to branding. It's like, man, I don't want my emblem to look at it like everybody else's. I don't want to have a tooth in the picture and just it's
Mhm.
no different in Burney family dentistry. We got to stand up.
Right.
If I walk away from this, anybody could own it or whoever. I wanted to be a brand name, if you will, and that's what we were kind of going for. So it went from the name to like, how serious are we about it? Are we gonna try to trademark it? Are we gonna try to literally find a designer that can design this better than anybody else in the dental industry? Like just the look of it. And so we took it that far with it, man, and we ran with it.
I
So
think that's but see, what I do like is that you put that much thought into it. Because
yeah,
I think that's where a lot of times it starts at inception.
yeah,
And if from the beginning you don't have a clear vision of where you want to end up, you could be off the rails before you even start.
yeah,
And the fact that, right, I mean, we're gonna get a little nuance right here, right? The fact that you were able to bring that idea to your bride, and she was just like, you know what, that
yeah.
might. So again, we got the simpatico going on, so it shows that you guys are working together. That even from the beginning, at its inception stage, you guys are going the right way. Which brings me back to, because you said that you guys are working separately. So I guess maybe you
Mhm.
guys, and I believe I was watching, I saw a video of you guys on, I think, a YouTube real quick. But I think you
Uh-huh.
guys are working in two separate practices at one point before you guys came together. So we know that nobody comes out of school with their own practice, right? So how does that, is there any fear? Is there any trepidation before you get to the point where, I know there has to be some security when you're working for practice than when you go out on your own, and kind of walk us through that process. Is it fearful? Is it just, let's just get out there and do it? How did that process work?
That's a good question right there because you're right. Nobody really leaves dental school and just owns their own practice. However, yeah, you're right. I don't really. Uh, Back in the day, it could be kind of that simple, even though it's not simple. I don't think
Right,
we were talking about 1950. I don't even think back in that time it's that simple. You just get the money, go open a business loan or whatever the case may be. And it's never
right,
that simple. I think it's I think it's very true in what you're saying. Nobody comes straight out of school and does it. I
Yep.
want you to know that in my anecdotal experience, and it's just my opinion, everybody in school wants to do it though. Like you didn't get into school, you didn't sign up to school,
right,
game not to do it.
right,
Nobody came in the game wanting to work for somebody else.
right,
Say some of us may like, hey, I want to go back and do public health dentistry. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has different visions, but I don't believe anybody said I wanted to be a dentist per se and not have the vision at some point in their career as they matriculate through dental school. Say I want to do it on my own. I think we all do. It's just not really taught how to do it on your
hmm,
own in school, to
hmm,
be honest with you. It's not. You learn how to do dentistry where you can make a living. You don't learn how to run the dental practice and make a living
gotcha.
in that direction. So, I mean, in regards to your question about the fearfulness of it, oh, absolutely. A whole lot of fear, man. A whole lot. So when we first got out, I was blessed to go to a residency program that promoted schooling and learning, enriching you in learning outside of school, man. It's just like, look, everything you learned in dental school is um at least that's what my mentors and my program director Tim Dorn was teaching us when we got to University of Nebraska. He was just like, listen, man, long story short, everything you guys learned in school was enough to survive. You guys have to have um, an appetite for learning if you want to be one of the best at doing this, if you want to be fulfilled in doing this, or you are going to literally, we can walk down the street right now to our first dental practice. You will find somebody that's just burnt out, ready to quit, hates dentistry. You have to keep growing. He's like, man, if you want to love doing what you do, you have to continuously train. You have to continuously try to improve. You have to continuously work out your clinical skills all the time to be one of the best. Not knowing that when Tim is telling us this, doing that and believing what he's saying, because he is our mentor and we chose the program because we want to be guided by him. Not knowing that as we exercise what he's telling us to do, we're going to be building our confidence. And as we took more courses, we started doing this, we started doing that, everything outside of school, you start saying to yourself, man, I can do this advanced procedure. I can do this clinically now. I can do this clinically now. I mean, I'm doing dentistry like I never even thought I would be doing before. And it all started with, that desire that he put in. I think majority of my colleagues, my co-residents rather, the 5 of us, all of our hearts when we were in the program. Like we all wanted to do, man, we were CE hungry. We were what they call CE junkies, continue education junkies. Like we were always looking for the next course, knowing where to go. And it was just so much of a fiend mentality for the CE or continue education. It was kind of rubbing off on people we were around, people who we interacted with in the field of dentistry. Like, man, you guys like to do this much learning? Like, it's that much fun? Okay, we're going to join you. But long story short, not knowing and doing all that learning, all that fear goes out the window. What it did was push me to a place where I was like, man, I can do this on my own. I wanted to do it on my own. I knew I always wanted to do it on my own. Hell, all my frat brothers, all my friends, all my dental school colleagues, we all wanted to do it on our own. Like, eventually, the big picture is to do it on our own. So now you guys taking all that education really grows your confidence and really gives you the goal to go out there and do it. The hard part is, though, you can want to do it all day, but if you don't know how to do it, well, you know what I mean? If you don't know how to, you'll be stuck. You just be, I don't know, it could almost like suck the wind out of you. You know you want to do it a certain way, you know you want to get there, but if you don't know how to, when it's really time to make it happen, you'll be so burnt out through this process. Because opening up a dental practice is pretty draining, man. I can't lie about it. I told my wife this is probably as draining as planning the wedding, man. Because the wedding was a lot too, man. It was just like, oh my gosh, it's like it's up
Weddings
there.
are a lot.
Yeah,
Weddings are a lot.
weddings can be a lot, man. So so yeah. It just builds the confidence, man. So I hope that answers your question. It just builds the confidence to make really, even though you might have the fear, you just feel like you have enough education and clinical skills that no matter what kind of comes to your door, you should be able to handle it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Able to handle it.
Now, I mean, obviously you had that, right? You had that down, the education, the confidence, the know-how. What I like and what I'd love for you to speak on is you took that and then you differentiated yourself from the Burney family dentistry, Snyder family dentistry, Taylor family dentistry. And that's what I kind of chuckle because that's what my dentist is called. Snyder family dentistry. You know, it's just there. And then I thought about it as you drive down like major thoroughfares, it's always something family dentistry with a tooth, with a smile, maybe a toothbrush, holding a little toothbrush, little goofy little thing.
So,
and you guys just flipped it and turned into like a luxury brand.
It's not oh shucks when you walk into his dentist. Oh shucks, I'm here to get a tooth pulled.
Yeah. So how did you decide to, change the game, so to speak? Because it has like the website, the social media, everything. It's like, it's not like a dentist office. It's more of like a spa feel, like you're going to a retreat or something like that. The lighting's nice. Like, I'm like, man.
Y'all haven't seen it yet. His place, if y'all haven't gone online, go to the website. Just hit Smile Snob New Orleans, right?
Yep. No,
that place, his lounge, his waiting area looks like a lounge. Like
Yeah, I'm
it looks like a
expecting
lot. I
drinks,
mean,
you know?
and,
Like,
and we're gonna get into it later. I know I jumped in there, Rich, but y'all, I'm just gonna let y'all know right now. I read through all the reviews, right, and all they said, "Oh, that's the technology. Everybody's so sweet and nice. Everybody, y'all, right? Everybody.
yeah,
So they're out there doing the work. They really are. And from what I
yeah,
understand, and we'll get into that and keep your question. I'm sorry, Rich, but I love the idea where you said about the continuing education, right? The
Yeah.
continuing, because they were saying that they had some of the, and I don't know how people know, how technologically advanced y'all are, because I guess the place just must look like a starship. But you 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 go into places and they got that old, that big old X-ray machine sitting on your face. You know what that thing look like.
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys are really into the continuing education, staying up on the technological advancements in dentistry, because I don't think it matters what field you're in. If
Yeah.
you don't continue to stay up on the times, you can make a living, and many times you might be able to eke out a living, you know, doing what everybody else has done. But when you jump out there a little bit and you stay with the technology, you're not fearful of the technology. And it probably has to do with your age and maybe, like you said, your mentors, right? And
Yeah.
that's an important thing that we try to talk about on the podcast, is how mentorship is a huge thing. And the people who, kind of helped you along the way didn't make you fearful of technology. We got Paul Bunyan and Babe. Listen, the steam engine's coming along. We can't be pulling teeth with forceps.
Right.
We have to
Yeah.
move along. So I love that idea, Rich. I'm sorry, I know I jumped in there on you. Please hit your question.
no, I
It
just
was it
I
was
just
nice,
want to
man.
know, what made him say let's change the game. Let's go give it that luxury vibe, that feel, because it does. Like Anton said, it feels really luxurious when you go on the website or social media.
Thank you. Thank you. And it is in person too. It's what gave us that feel, Rich, man, it's the vision, man. It was a vision. I mean, man, let's see. So let me tell you a little bit about myself, I guess. I graduated dental school 2015 from Meharry in Nashville, Tennessee. Um, that played a big instrumental part on my dental school upbringing. Then I went to the University of Nebraska for my residency program, and they pushed me not only clinically, but like I said, pushed the whole fall in love with continuing education. Be the best out of all five of us here. Be the best. Be the best. I remember when I went to the University of Nebraska, I felt like I was the most well trained co-resident, but most undertrained at the same time. It's like, man, I know I can do it, but I didn't even know this existed. And they're like,
Mhm.
Bernie, you never even heard this before? I never heard of this product before. You never heard of this product before, Bernie? To the point where it just motivated me, and I was like, look, this is the last time I'm getting embarrassed in this place. So where it just pushed me to just, by the time I'm telling everybody about the newest and greatest of this, they come to me for the answers now. You know what I mean? And that's just what it pushed me to be. And then when I get out and I go into the real world, I get humbled. It's just like, hey, man,
Yeah.
yeah, hey, man, this is real life right now. This is real dentistry. This is how it goes. And it's not all rainbows and sunshine. It can kick you in the teeth a little bit. And so it humbled me, but it didn't take my vision away. It didn't take my drive away. And
Mhm.
it wasn't until I did a 2-year program in Delaware, working in the prison, where
Okay.
the whole vision started coming to me. And the vision of me doing my own thing. It was like, so in this prison setting, I was the only full-time prison doctor. And then there was like maybe 8 other doctors in the state of Delaware that would come to the prison and work on a Monday. This doctor works on a Tuesday. So I'm getting
Right.
doctors. Every day I walk in, there's a new doctor with me. And we just having conversation. They work private practice the other days, and they just come here on this one day to get back to their community or to make some extra cash because it's easy dentistry in there. And I was
Gotcha.
just, and this is what's going on in my practice. They're just giving me ideas about this, and they give me ideas about that. And I'm just
Mhm.
hearing everybody's little input about what they feel about dentistry. I got people that Dr. Mann, he was an 80-something-year-old guy, and I got somebody in there, Dr. Lenz, she was around my age in her 30s. It's just like I got so many perspectives
Right.
and on how dentistry goes. And then I'm just like we're doing right now. Listen, I would listen to a podcast because the prison was an hour away from my house. So I would drive an hour to work and I'd drive an hour back home. And that whole hour, I'm not listening. I listen to no music for like 2 years straight. I listened to no music in my car. I just listen to dental podcasts, dentistry, dentistry, dentistry. My wife thought I was sick, but I just had a vision. I had a passion. I was just going for, man, and it just started building. I'm listening to everybody's ideas, and I'm hearing the newest and greatest. I'm like, oh, you're suffering from that, man. You need to try this out. And I'm just like, man, if I had my own practice, I'll do this. And then it finally just hit me. It's like, yo, why don't you just try to do your own practice? And if you do, what would you do? And I lie to you not. If I go on my phone right now, I can go to my notes. You can see from 2018 all the way up until till this actually became a reality for me. Notes that I was just taking from course I took after course after course after course, podcast after podcast, conversation after conversation, and just jotting everything down. It got so cumbersome when it came to actually building this thing. It was like, man, I skimmed at those notes every now and then. It's like, oh man, it's just too overwhelming. Oh man, how to forget this? But that's how I was just writing my dream down, man. I was just writing
Yeah.
my dream down, writing it down, knowing the irony of me in prison, being a prison doctor, you know, in a place with men that look like ourselves, full of men that look like ourselves, and they wake up every morning, they go and do what they got to do every morning, and some of these mornings they got to come see me. And these guys got some pretty damn good attitudes about life, but they're stuck in this situation because they
Right.
believe themselves. Like, look, I ain't gonna be here forever. And when I do get out, this is my plan. And some people on the outside may hear that this person has a plan when they get out of jail and laugh at it. But the man has a vision. He has a dream of what he wants to do, regardless of the situation he's in. Because I use that as motivation. Because I was like, the irony of me being in here. Because I could be sitting here like, man, I work in a prison. My colleagues, man, they working at this office. They got their own office. They doing this. They doing that. And they doing all. They got it all. I work at a prison, man, my attitude or perspective could be like completely different. I could be down on myself. I could be walking in the prison every day with my head down. Man, I was enthusiastic every time I walked in the prison. I just got finished listening to a whole hour podcast that just motivated me to get on this computer and map out my vision. And that's what I
Yeah.
would do. And so I looked at myself as like the inmate in here with the good attitude that knows when this plan is, when I'm free and my 2 year commitment is up, I'm about to do something with my life. And so that's what I did, man. And like I told my wife many times, I always thought it was an irony that I was in that position because I never thought I would be in the position working in the prison. But the people I met, the people I was working around, the doctors I got to encounter and stuff, that's where the vision came from, man. It's all about the vision, Rich. And all I had to do was execute the vision. And so I had the vision. I would talk it to about with my wife, and then the vision got to the point where, okay, well, where are we going to do it at? And it got down to, we want to go to Texas. Okay, we can go to Texas. We wanted to go to Plano, Texas at first. And then my son was announced that he was about to be born, I guess. My wife found out she was
Yeah.
pregnant. Then the whole game plan changed. We ain't going to Texas now. And
Yeah.
so little did I know he was going to be born just to lead me into the direction of me even thinking of the name for the practice. Like even seeing the milk snob or whatever, turning it into smile snob. Like those type of things. Like, man, everything happened for a reason. It was weird how it all worked out. But we ended up coming to New Orleans. That's where we wanted to go. And then I had a gig to get me down to New Orleans. And I'm not going to say I was BSing the vision, but thank God for giving you a life partner that, is a blessing. Your wife, your second half, your better half, and your partner and stuff. She pushed me. She pushed me into the point. I remember we came home one day. I came home one day and she was basically like, look, we either going to do this or we ain't.
Hmm.
Like literally, we got a meeting Wednesday with this company, 6:30 p.m. You be there, be square, basically, I'm doing this without you type of ordeal. And it was like,
Oh,
I'm there.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to ask you how much this company costs. I don't even want to freaking know, but I'm
Yeah.
there. And so that's how it happened, man. And when she pushed me over the edge, it was like literally the ball started rolling, Rich. The vision was now being played out. And it didn't stop ever since then. I don't remember what year it was when that happened. I think 2019. In the 2019, no, it was 2020. It was like the early part of 2020. The vision it was getting executed. I'm talking about from business plans to asking people at the banks for the money to I can get into all that how we did it and stuff, but it literally started from there. It stopped being in my notes on my phone and it started becoming a reality.
Wow.
Yep.
yeah,
Now,
Anton, can I ask one
yeah,
follow up
no,
real quick?
please, please, please.
Because Dr. Mark, you almost talked about it, but you stopped for a second. You veered off. I would love for you to, because it's interesting. You were in Tennessee, Nebraska, Delaware, and then you thought about Texas. But how did you end up going to New Orleans? Can you
My
finish
wife
that for us?
Yeah, my wife is from New Orleans.
Okay.
And
Okay,
so
there we go.
we had my first. I keep saying my first like he's not my only son.
Yeah,
So
listen,
born.
listen, Dr. Mark, we
Right?
don't want no problems later.
I'll let y'all know something I don't know. He's my only son. But no, seriously, we we found out we were pregnant again with my daughter,
Okay.
and I was in my son's nursery. I think I was cleaning up after changing a diaper or something, and I can't remember what I was doing. Somehow I ended up in the rocking chair, and all of a sudden my son comes back in the nursery. Except this time he's wearing a black shirt that says "Big Bro" on it, and I was just like, I know you got to be freaking lying to me. That was not my intent. Ain't no way in the world. So Mia
Yeah.
comes in, she peeks her head around the corner, she's smiling and stuff, and I'm just like, man, you gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding me. I know you're joking. And she was just like, we're pregnant again. And I was just like, oh my God. And my wife would tell you my reaction was completely different. Like, oh my God, like you saw a ghost almost. Like I just
Yeah.
wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready for it. It was like, oh my God. Because my life changed so much with my son. I was like, oh my God, not again. In regards to
Right.
like new responsibilities and stuff. I just wasn't meant to, it was hard for me to even,
Been there.
digest with my son. And I love both of them to death. It was just it's hard for me. It was hard for me to accept the reality of my new responsibility. It's like, man, I wasn't trying to get no new responsibility right now.
Yep.
What the world? Hey, this is how it goes. You don't ask for it sometimes. It just comes, and when it comes, you take care of business, and that's what we did. But when that happened, we decided at that moment we're going to go to Louisiana, Rich, and get closer to family to help us out. Because I mean, it was like I said, we were raising our son by ourselves, both two full-time dentists, and my wife wasn't comfortable with anybody being a nanny or a babysitter or all this. Man, I was clocking in at one job and clocking in for another when I was coming home. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the kid, she was doing the same thing. So it was a lot. It was a lot, man. And we decided we're gonna go back to New Orleans, where she's from, be closer to her family. And it was weird because my family ended up coming with me.
Oh,
Oh,
beautiful.
nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So that worked out well. So yeah, I mean, and that just a couple of things just talking about the family dynamics. There's nothing one another thing that he said, and it might have went over your head, that how important it is, the decisions who we decide we're gonna lay next to for the rest of our lives.
That's one.
Because
Ooh.
people kind of gloss over that. She could have been the type of spouse that could say, "Hey, listen, man, you good down at the prison. You could rock, you keep rocking. We doing all right. You down at the prison."
Yeah. And
But
and to
she
be
knew that wasn't your
honest,
vision. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
It would have worked.
yeah,
It's
it
not
would have
like it
worked.
wouldn't have worked.
It would have
But
worked.
was that what you wanted? Was that what you were planning? And some people would have just said, "You know what, Dr. Mark," oh, she would have just said, "Mark, you good down there. All right. We all right. We gonna make it." But the fact that she was just like, "Listen, we got a meeting tomorrow. We doing this or not?" You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, no matter how intelligent we are, no matter how many decisions we can make from day to day, sometimes a brother just need a little push.
Push. Just need a push, man.
That's all. Sometimes we just need a little push. And the fact that she was able to do that in a way that was to motivate you and to just kick it into gear and to get everything back grounded is a testament to the fact that you've made a good decision.
I
And
appreciate
you made a good decision. And talking about those, how does that work? Was it a big adjustment from you guys working secularly in other places? Now I don't know. We don't know how it works. Are you guys in the office on the same days at your practice? Do you guys alternate days? Like, how does that work? And do you see too much of Dr. Mia sometimes?
it. Good question. All right, so listen. I told you I was driving every day to work for an hour. I listened to the podcast. I listened to a dental podcast. Listen to a dental podcast. And I still remember back in the day when I had the vision. I would listen to this one podcast from Gary Takis, and he owns a practice in Arizona. And he has two doctors that work for him. And he told us on this podcast his schedule. Dr. Tim works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I can't remember the other guy's name off the top of my head. He works Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I'm driving to work like, oh, snap, that's a great idea. So Tim works Monday, Tuesday, and half morning on Wednesday. Let's say his name was Bob. Dr. Bob works end of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that way, our office is open 5 days a week, and we can see all the patients on demand. Nobody's feeling left out. The team gets paid the way they want to get paid. And guess what? Tim still makes the same amount of money he was when we decided to go into this formulas or scheduling structure.
Right.
He actually makes more because now he condenses his days, and his days are more methodical. His days are more blocked out. He wants to do this type of surgery on this day. He said, man, it's just been working. So I'm driving to work and I'm just like, damn, that's a good idea. That's a pretty good idea. I like that. Now at the time, I I had a vision to do it on my own. I wasn't thinking, oh, me and my wife are going to do it. Never, ever thought it was going to be like that. I promise you, at this point, at this time when I was living in Delaware, I never thought when I'm driving to work, I'm coming home speaking my vision to my wife and telling her my dreams. I never thought she would be my partner, my business partner like that. I thought she'd just be my wife and she'd be a dentist doing something else. And who I had envisioned when I heard Gary Tackett say this was my line brother, my frat brother, Terrence. And because T always wanted to own his own too, but he was working for the government to pay back his student loans. He owes them 10 years, and after 10 years, you're debt free. So he's doing that right now. I said, man, listen to me, man. Screw those loans right now. We can pay him back if we do this business thing right. We can get it. Just walk away from it now. And this was around the time when Trump was in, and I think it was right early in, and he was like in control of like making sure that 10-year program didn't work. Like the people, the first set that got there did their 10 years, they were being told, nah, and they pulled the rug under. I still remember calling Terrence, man, you got to get out that program, man. I just heard on NPR, man, that look, it's not gonna work, man. If the people that already paid 10 years, it's not gonna work. You're only 4 years in, get out now. Don't worry about the rest. And
Walk away. Walk away.
walk away. Now, fast forward, Terrence is coming up on his 10th year now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and he's still structured to go ahead and be taken care of. But you get what I'm saying. So I had Terrence on. So I remember it was me, Terrence, my wife Mia, and his wife Seption. We went to dinner, and I had a business proposal for Terrence at the steak dinner. We went to Prime 225 in Delaware. You can look that up. It's a real nice restaurant.
Okay.
I was so serious about this dinner, man. I got us all Japanese A5 Wagyu steaks.
Oh man, he went all the way in. Not the
I went all the way-
A5.
went all the way with the A5. Everybody had their steaks. We had a nice little steak dinner, man. It was a nice spot, Prime 225. It's one of my favorite restaurants. And Terrence heard the proposal. He's like, man, it sounds good, but his heart just wasn't in it. His
Right.
heart wasn't in it. He knows he wants to own his own. He wants to get there. He was envious of how much continuing education I was taking in my life, as he would tell me all the time. And he was like, man, I sure wish, I could do what you were doing right now in regards to like just excelling in dentistry, man. You just doing everything so much more than what we learned in school, man. I just love it. It's motivating me, man. I
Right.
want to do it. But when the time came, I was like, Terrence, I'm ready to pull this trigger. At least in my head, I'm thinking I'm ready. God's like, boy, you don't have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Enjoy your dinner tonight, but you have no idea what you're talking about. Your partner's here and they right beside you, and it ain't
Wow.
Terrence. And I just didn't know. And so I remember getting in the car. I was like, man, after the dinner, and Terrence didn't decline me, but I know Terrence is like one of my best friends. I know him well enough to know when his heart's in it, his heart ain't. We pledged together. It's my line brother. I know when his heart is in something and it ain't. And so I got in the car. I was like, man, it ain't gonna work, man. And me was like, keep your head up. Yeah, your vision, man. Everything you were telling him, what you want to do, where you want to go, about how you want to have a practice and what you want it to look like. It can happen, man. And so, long story short, I don't remember when she told me, but eventually, I don't think it was far too long, maybe like a week after that dinner. She was like, you ever think about me being your partner? And I was just like, no, not really. She was like, well, why not? And she was like, so to answer your question, Anton, it just answers your question in regards like, well, what's it like working with your wife? She was like, well, you don't got to work with me. You work the Monday, Tuesday, morning, Wednesday, and I work the evening, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That way, you're at home with the kids when the time comes, and I'm at home with the kids doing this, and we can meet each other on the weekend. Whatever the case may be, we don't got to be in the office other than Wednesday, and it's during lunch hour. The only time I'm gonna come in. And so I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I don't got to be around you too much. So there goes the answer to your question. We work together. We don't work together. That makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Does.
Makes
That's how we
perfect sense.
So that's how we keep the marriage healthy and stuff. You know, we ain't under each other's nerves.
Yeah. You got to give me some time to miss you, baby. You got to give me
Yeah,
some time to miss you.
exactly. That's how we do it, man. I stole that scheduling model from Gary Takis, and I've been implementing it ever since. So
Very nice. Very nice. Now,
I'm gonna
again, man, the practice is beautiful. Like
it
I
is.
really like if I maybe on my next vacation, I'll make sure I got a little cavity or something, you know. And I might just stroll on in. But just so you guys know, like I said, I was reading through a lot of the reviews. There were people who didn't have insurance in place, and the doctors over at Smile Snob were able to take care of them. And it seems like they got some kind of machine to make you cold brew with your name in it. Yeah, I'm not telling y'all to go there for that, but I'm telling Rich, I don't even know if you saw it, but it put your name and said, "Hey, welcome to Smile Snob, Terrence." You know what I'm saying? In the cold brew. These people are over here doing the Lord's work, y'all. Like they are really, they have a passion behind what they do, and they really, really love what they do. Rich, was there anything else you wanted to bring out before we close?
No, just trying to figure out too, just so you can bring to the limelight, you know, you have all this experience, continuing education. So I know in dentistry, a lot of times, you take care of the things like antacid cavities, this and that and the third. But you also do like some cosmetic things to like enhance people's smile, make them look better, and really be a smile snob.
Yeah.
Can you just quick kind of speak to a couple of those things, and then we'll kind of start to round out the discussion and land the plane, so to speak. But I'd love to hear
Yeah,
what you guys do.
man, there's a lot in dentistry that can be done, and we try to be able to not just be a jack of all trades, but master a lot of the higher end stuff. But before we even got to the higher end, we had to master the basic stuff too. I
Yeah.
feel like my feelings are pretty daggone good. I feel like, the basic crown preps and all that. Everything's pretty good, man. But what can we do like to enhance your smile? Like say you come in, everything's stable, right? You're pretty healthy. You're going like, look, doc, just make me look better. First, I got to analyze you. We got to smile design you. Okay. I don't want to just prep your teeth and pray the lab's going to make it look good. I don't prep and pray. I stole that from David Hornbrook, and he made me laugh because he had me thinking about a few patients I did before he even taught me. Dang, I did just prep their teeth and pray to God the lab made it work. You we smile design before we even touch you. You know what you're going to look like before I even do anything. Proper education, proper technology, and the proper passion and protocol implemented in the office can provide that. And that's what we do. So if you're looking like for a veneer or a smile makeover in that nature, we can do that. And if you're a patient that just, man, neglected their teeth for decades and you coming in and it's just, it's hopeless. You come in knowing, like, look, dog, man, I ain't expecting to hear nothing but, hey, I know I need a denture. We can give you the best type of denture. From the bare naked denture to a denture that gets snapped in, all right? It can enhance your bite a little bit more to a denture that gets screwed in and it never comes out. I do all that too. And that will enhance and change your life as well. Okay? Make you look I aim to make you look like you deserve to be on front of a magazine. You understand me? So that's what we can do in our office, and that's what we like to implement. But yeah, it really doesn't change too much. You can also implement where dentistry likes to go right now aesthetically is not just make your teeth whiter, um, closing spaces and stuff like that, but they also like to do this new technique where everybody's paying attention more to the gums. A lot of doctors are doing a lot of gum lifting now, where it's like, you know what, everybody's talking about the teeth, and you can enhance the smile, but you can take it to the next level if you do the teeth and the gums at the same time, making sure the gums are even all the way around. Making sure that
Dr. Mark, we working on gums?
yeah, we're working on gums too. Making sure your gums don't show too much when you smile.
I
You know,
know
you
exactly what you mean, right? You
yeah.
heavy on a little light on the tooth, a little heavy on the gum.
Hey,
I'm
but
done.
I'm still that one right there. Like, so heavy on the gum. Yeah,
Yeah.
we try to balance it out and create a harmony, and we can do that, man. We can do that all. And there's not too much in dentistry that I know of that we're not doing. There's some things that I'm not doing, like zygomatic implants, pterygoid implants. I'm not doing that right now. But implants in general, the implants that get put in your mouth that your denture can get snapped in or screwed in and never come out, we definitely do that too. Um, We do things where people who get told they can't get the implant because they don't have enough bone, we grow the bone, guided bone regeneration. We do a little bit of that for you as well. Man, if you get the right training, there's no reason why wearing the white coat, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do this, but you got to have the drive to want to go and learn that type of stuff. But there's a lot of things we can do, Rich, to enhance you for sure. And that's a lot of my passion, man, is those dentures, the snap in dentures, the screw in.
Okay.
Really love changing the smile that way because you get the best result. You literally get somebody who smiles and you can just see nothing but tongue, heavy on the tongue, if you will. And then I give an after picture afterwards, man. You can see them beautiful, beautiful denture that goes in and doesn't come out, man. I think you can see some of that on our website too. I don't know. I gotta check, man. But yeah, that's the type of stuff we could do, Rich, to enhance you for sure.
That sounds good. And we got a surprise guest, but he's exiting before we close out with you, Dr. Mark.
Good deal.
Anton, I'm going to toss it to you for a second. Go ahead.
I can't hear you, Anton.
Thank you, Mark.
Right.
It's amazing to see your passion for what you do. We see it in basically every facet of the practice. We see it in the aesthetic. We saw it in the way you approach just even picking a name. You have your better half with you, your wife. These are all, to me, they seem like recipes for success, right? The continuing education. You see the condition of that lab coat, beautiful, right? Beautiful, right? We got the Smile Snob logo up. This is not some generic coat, people. This man is putting in, they put in the work. They've got the logo not ironed, embroidered into the lab. So, and from what I saw, and I am being a little funny, but really, truly, you can see the passion in just this short conversation. We don't know a lot about dentistry, but we do know what a good dentist can do for you, right? We've all had to spend some time in a dentist chair, reluctantly or not. It's not always just getting it clean, and every now and then you might have to get a little crown put in. You know what I'm saying? And you want that.
Right.
You want that boy to last some years because we have some people. You get a 3-year crown, you don't want that.
You want it to last some decades,
right?
If it only lasts 6 months, you feel like I took your money. That's what I tell my patients, man. You want this thing done right. I do not want somebody in my chair feeling like I took their money, so I can't provide you with this. This is why we got to do that. Look, I tell them all the time, man. You want to choose quality over anything else when it gets put in your mouth because hey, you got to eat every day. Every day. The last thing you want to do is eating and be questioning, man. Should I be able to eat on my right side? I don't know, Doc, give me that crown. I know I ain't paid high end for it. I don't know if I'll be able to bite on it. You got to think twice about it. You feel uncomfortable. You got to think about that every day. So,
Dr. Mark, before I go, I got one thing, okay? I just got one dental question while we're here, okay?
I hope I can answer it.
All right, I know you will, because it's not that deep. Okay. Regular floss or flossers?
Regular floss all day, big dog.
Oh, I knew it.
Look, I know you want to go flosses. It's easier. We all do.
The plackers. Oh, I love those. The plackers.
Listen, man, we all want the shampoo, conditioner all in one, but we all know better to go with the shampoo and conditioner separate bottles, man. We all want it simpler. We want the 12-in-1 body wash, face wash. Yeah. We all do. It's easier. But look, you'll get out the heavy particles, but you're not getting that in between underneath the sulcus, circling around the tooth the way you're supposed to. Then you want to get into the question about what kind of floss they put on those pickers. It's the Glide, it's the PTFE, that Teflon tape type floss. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it has its place. But me personally, my professional opinion is the threaded floss. You want to make sure you're removing debris, not gliding up against it. Let's say you don't floss every day, and that plaque turns into a little calculus. You want something that's going to kind of catch that early calculus and kind of pop it off. Not saying that you can pop all calculus off, but just pop off, the early stage of it. You got that, it's going to glide right over that, and it's going to turn into very hard calculus. The only way it's coming off, you come see me. I professionally prove it. You see me? You feel what I'm saying? You want to get the floss that's going to be threaded, and you want to get the floss that you unfortunately got to wrap around your hands and get up in the nooks and crannies, man. You don't want to glide over it now. And you definitely don't want to go straight up and down with the pick. I like it.
I got a confession.
Yeah.
When we first heard about Smile Snob, and I thought, I don't know. We didn't. It
Yeah,
might
how
not.
we
I'm gonna
how
be
we gonna make
honest,
any time
man.
on this?
I don't know. This might not be. I'm ready to get into dentistry, man. I'm ready for a dentistry podcast, baby. I'm like, Dr. Mark, you coming back? You coming back,
Yo,
Dr. Mark? I'm loving
I
this, man. I can't even front no more. Like, this has been an amazing podcast, bro.
He's
Like,
over here geeking
I'm
out
like,
orthodontically.
I'm
Like,
loving it. I'm loving it. And
I love
this
the
is
energy.
why we do this. Dr.
Absolutely.
Mark, man, for real. From
Thank you.
everything, the entrepreneurship, just the education, practical information, your passion, man.
Sir.
Your
Thank you.
passion is what I'm taking away from this. You have ignited something inside of me. And I hope everybody listening can really just take away some nuggets.
Yeah.
You had the vision, you executed it, man. Hats off to you for real. I just had to say that. But this has been an amazing episode. I'll let Ant take us out, but Dr. Mark, thank you on behalf of Anton and myself. Thank you for joining us. And
Absolutely.
I've really thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I really have.
Hey, I thank you, Rich, Anton. Thank you, the Gent Podcast. Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure, y'all.
listen, before you go, doctor, please tell them where they can find you, your socials, all your pertinent information. Are you accepting clients at this point, or are we just packed out? We might be packed out, people. You might want to jump in now because this is about to be meteoric.
Listen, it's we get it. I'll say this: we're not packed out, but we are highly favored and blessed. I mean, I'm completely surprised. We've been open for 3 weeks now, and I'm completely surprised about the support. People coming in,
Yeah.
willing to get dental treatment, willing to pay, willing to just, coming in. My wife says it all the time. It's her catchphrase. I think it's on the website as well. It's an experience when you come into Smile Snob. You're not just coming into a dental practice, man. It's an experience, and everybody that's leaving is just wild when they leave. My team knows we're changing somebody's life for the better every morning. They know we're looking for a hell of a review from, if not all our patients, somebody's leaving something because they gotta be wild. My front desk concierge, she knows from the moment she shakes somebody's hand, sees them.
What's her name? Vic? Somebody. I saw somebody's name.
Asia's my front desk concierge. Vic's the last gonna see. She talks. Look, man, there's 2 things I'm never right about and don't talk in my office: money and schedule, because I'm never right about them, man. I'm never right, so I don't never talk money, because Dr. Mark will tell you it costs $100 when it costs $1,000.
Yeah.
And now I'm tell you about the schedule. Like, I'm gonna see you this afternoon because I probably got 4 patients this afternoon, and everybody's got to get to a soccer game or something. So 2 things I don't talk about. So the last person you'll see is Vic. She talks all the money.
Got you.
Yeah.
But everybody gets rave reviews. Everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, they do. I mean, and that's what we aim for. We have a passion for that. My team has a passion for it. They get incentivized for it. They love it. It just motivates them, man. And they just love changing lives through a smile. I feel like my passion radiates off onto them, and their passion off of them onto my patients. So they just like walking away like, man, hey. But y'all can meet us and find us at smilesnobnola.com. You can find me on Instagram at Dr. Mark Burney. That's Dr. Dr. Mark with a K, Mark, and Burney like a 3rd-degree burn with the EY at the end. And then you can find my wife at Mia the dentist. That's her Instagram. And of course the website, not the website, the office's Instagram is Smile Snob NOLA. All right. So you put those in, Smile Snob NOLA. You find my wife, Mia the dentist, and myself, Dr. Mark Burney. Hey, we'll gladly love to take care of you. You're more than welcome to come see us. Yeah, man, we just want to change your life for the better, man. It's what we do.
It's amazing.
Yeah, this was great.
It's amazing.
We may have to do a part 2. We may have to get Dr. Mia on here too, because we need some more perspective on this. You know what I'm saying? These people out here changing lives. We have a beautiful Black couple. I mean, we got to say it. You know, just that are just truly out there, just showing love. I wanted to get into the power couple thing, but that's a whole nother dynamic. We can't do it, Mark. We can't do it now.
No, we can do another one. Look, we can do another one. We can talk about, we can talk about the marriage. We can talk about.
Yeah, I'd love to. I really would.
We can even talk about if people even care. If you think people would care about our process, how this even came. How'd you even end up owning the office you in? Like, we own our building, we own lease it. How'd you get because this is the type of stuff they don't teach us in school. I don't know if there's other younger, colleagues of mine that might be listening to the Gent podcast, that might be motivated, even thinking of like, man, maybe dental school might be for me. And this
Right.
is, this is something to kind of solidify, man, just so they got a pathway or some type of guide or like
A blueprint.
a blueprint. That's what
There
I'm
it
looking
is.
for. Know
Yeah,
how to do it. I'm
there
an
it is.
open
Yeah.
book. I'll tell you exactly how I did it. All right.
There it
So
is.
Beautiful.
yeah, we can definitely do another one.
We
Yeah,
will.
we will.
Gentlemen, I thank everyone for being here this evening. I hope that you have enjoyed this installment of the Gents podcast. Dr. Mark, we appreciate you being here. Rich, as always, my co-pilot, I appreciate you being here. Please like, share, subscribe to the podcast. Send it to somebody you might be interested in dentistry or anything else in the life of a gentleman. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon. Rich, give it to him.
Until next time, guys. Take care.